Hello and welcome to the Wheel of Crime podcast, the podcast that's run by two ladies who play games, shout profanities, and laugh way too often. Also, this podcast does cover topics of sensitive nature, and as such, listener discretion is advised.
Hello, and welcome back to the Wheel of Crime podcast. My name is Jenn.
My name is Emily, and this is our second take for this episode. I was a dummy and forgot that everybody could hear Jenn. You guys, me, my neighbors, my cats, and it really should only be me. Because you were
The quiet voice in Emily's head was allowed.
Yeah, you were a treasure that I am selfish with. Only I can hear you.
Anyways, we had some audio issues.
You guys,
but we're starting over. We're starting anew. We were talking about our weeks, so we'll give you a quick rundown.
Yeah, the TLDR.
Yes, the TLDR. Basically, I'm going on a work bender for 9 days, and then going on a trip when you guys are listening to this. So pray for me. I'm hella tired right now. I can feel it in my bones.
Yep, and I'm just being a social girly, and it's everything I wanted and everything I complained about. So really, I'm just a guy, I guess. And then
either this intro is really long or really short, and I'm sure if it's short, someone out there is celebrating because the amount of people complaining about how much yapping we do.
That's the thing. So for you, 2 people, 3 people, 10 million people who listen to the show and you're like, you guys talk way too much.
Shut up.
This is for you specifically. And then we went into our exercise plans because who knew? Jenn and I are exercise fitness girlies now. Which is its own kind of boring, revolting in a different kind of way. But I'm okay with it.
It's just what we do.
I've accepted it. This is good. This is good for us. It is good for us, for real, but it's also good for us, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right. Well, I'm ready to get into our episode, if you are.
Yes, let's spin the wheel of questions. We haven't done this yet, so we didn't make it that far in.
No, you guys just missed our life updates, which is so sad.
So depressing for you.
What's the creepiest place you've ever been completely alone?
I was working on a show once, and it's on this old ranch that's not, it's used in the film scene where I work, but not as much as some of the other ranches. Mm-hmm. And on this ranch, there is this old farmhouse that is half burnt down, and there's a bunch of shit in there, so it's not really a usable building anymore. And I was working on the show, and we were doing a lot of night shooting, so I was just hanging out at night in my truck, and I decided to explore this place one night, and oh my god, it was hella spooky, and I'm pretty sure it was haunted.
You won't even go camping. What do you mean you explored a burned out farmhouse in the middle of the night? What the fuck is wrong with you?
I wasn't even anywhere near set at that point too. I was so far away from set because I was up the road, and I think I was just delirious. I think I was actually delirious at that point because I had been working many nights in a row and not getting a lot of sleep, and I just was like, this is a good idea. And then I was in there and I was like, I hear noises. I'm so fucking scared right now.
What do you mean there's things in here with me? Like bats and ghosts?
I think there was for sure a ghost. There was a rumor that there was a ghost, and we did try and go back a few nights later and find it, but then one of the people we were going to go back with got too scared, and I was like, I'm not going back there alone.
That's funny. I love that you were right off the riff with a story. I don't know. I feel like I've been in a few creepy places completely alone. I will say though, so the one I'm thinking of, I believe, is one we've talked about on the show before, which was on my grandparents' farm. They had the first house that they ever built out there, which was since then half fallen apart. That I just
burned down.
Yeah, and half burned down. That I went and I was creeping around, and they were looking for stuff at one point, and that was creepy. But funny enough, I've had a couple of experiences where you're home completely alone. Like you
Mm-hmm.
have the house to yourself, whatever, and then you start hearing things that you've never heard before in your life. And that is always so freaky to me. I'm like, the one place where I'm supposed to be like content and safe and
Safe.
know what's going on, and now I don't. I don't like
I
this.
know. See, shit like that always happened to me when I was home alone at my parents' house growing up.
Mm.
I would be like, it's so fucking spooky in here.
Well, remember, Jen will remember. I'm not sure if this is a story I've told on the podcast, but probably. It would have been a couple of years ago, though. So there was a night where my husband was out traveling for work, and so I had the house to myself. And I think this was like night 2 or 3. I ended up, I don't know if I FaceTimed you or if I sent you like a video of me, like a little video, like, hey, welcome to my channel type video.
Mm-hmm.
But it was literally like, I was getting ready for bed. It was maybe 11:30 at night, and no, maybe it wasn't that late. It doesn't matter. But I had shut down everything. The doors were locked. I was in bed, and the one thing I'd forgotten to do was to like crack the bedroom window because I like
Mm-hmm.
closed all the other doors and windows, but I liked having the fresh air come in, which is always something we talk about on the podcast. It's like never leave your fucking window open. But like for whatever reason, I was like la la la, had it open, like fully open, like open, and I
Yeah.
was trying to go to sleep, wind down, crawl into bed, and then all of a sudden I look up, and the way that my window is set up is I have kind of like a window, not like a window screen, like I have one of those, but I have like these light refracting things taped up into the window just to make sure that everything's secure for the AC unit and everything,
Mm-hmm.
and to keep the sun out. And I can't see shit on what's on the other side of the window, which is the windscreen. So I like was sitting there, not a sound in the house. All of my cats are with me in bed. And I can hear something in the window, and I was like, okay, great. Like, it might just be the wind picking up and kind of, blowing against this thing I've made, this
Mm-hmm.
construct I have in my window. And I can see it, and then I look up and I see it shaking. Like, it's making noises, and the thing is physically shaking in the window. And I was like, oh my fucking God, something's trying to get in. So I went and I reached up. Like, this happened within seconds of me looking up and noticing that the thing was like violently shaking. Like it wasn't even jostling. Like, to be clear, I thought, ooh, the wind. Looked up, mad, shaking in my window, bad. I reached up with the back of my fist and punched the window, like the screen in the window, and it was so quiet outside. All I heard was eek, and then something hit the leaves and then go away into the sunset. And then when I made my little hello, welcome to my channel video for Jen, I think at that point I had sussed out that it was this squirrel that was living in our wall, and for whatever reason he must have just tried getting cozy in the window. I fully just
I
knocked
love
that
this
bitch out of
story
my
because
window.
Emily
I was
punched
like,
the
"Get
squirrel in
out
the
of
head.
here." I did. I punched him right out of my window. And that was
I
fucking
love
spooky.
that story. I constantly reference that to everybody, just so you know.
Have you heard the story where Emily punched a squirrel out of her window? For real,
Like,
though. That was so
That's
scary.
like my party trick. I pull that out. I'm like, my best friend punched a squirrel in the head. Did you know that?
But you know what? It does make me feel good in the sense where now I know that in the fight, flight, freeze situation,
She's fighting.
I'm fighting. Like, I knew that already, which is very, like, not... It is against my character. I feel like if you were to sit me in front of somebody and be like, oh, like, are you fight, flight, or freeze? Most people would tell me that I probably freeze. I'm a fighter. I don't know what happens. Like, my adrenaline gets
You
pumped.
get mad.
I get mad and I start swinging, which is fun. I like that for me.
I love that for you.
Which
You're
one
like,
are you,
if-
fight, flight, or freeze?
If I'm going down, you're going down with me, bitch.
Get here. Do you
I don't
know
know.
which one you are?
No, I haven't been in a situation like that. I guess I kind of have. I've been in one, but I don't know if that counts. And I definitely did not know what to do. So I froze in that moment, but I don't know if it was like a intruder situation, what I would do. I would probably fight.
Yeah. See, like you said, it's kind of hard to know unless you're in a situation you can kind of relate it to, but I'd be curious. I don't know. I feel like you might be a fighter too. But maybe not.
I would like to think that I am, but like, I don't know. I
could see
surprised
freeze
myself
for you.
and I froze. So who's to say?
if you've ever been in a situation where you were like, I was scared so bad and I don't know what happened, but I just punched the guy, that's how you'll know. That's how I found out.
See, I feel like if it was someone doing something to just me, I might freeze. If it was someone doing something to, like, you or my husband, I would definitely fight them.
Well, I mean...
Like, the instinct would immediately kick in, and I would go sicko mode.
No, I know this is true, because there was a person who backed into me, and you literally got out of the car and ran, physically ran after their car as they were driving away. So I know you would do that.
I was so
pissed
pissed
off. It helps me feel better when I go to sleep at night. I'm like, somewhere out there, if I'm in trouble, Jen would know, and she would come and help me.
Would. Genuinely, I would.
Aw. All right, let's spin for our next question. Do you think certain places can remember the people who've harmed them? So, when I say places remember, it's like, have you ever walked into a room and without knowing that something bad happened in there, you're like, ooh, like something about this is giving me the heebie-jeebies?
I think so. I think you can get a vibe off of certain places where you're like, something bad happened here.
I kind of think so too. And I know that...
Like, they have a stank on them.
Yeah, and this is definitely something we've talked about on the show before, just because we are two people who've been doing the same show about the same kind of stuff for years. But at one point I was talking about how, for a time, people thought there was kind of like a science to it. Like, when somebody gets really afraid, we might put off, like, pheromones or, like, chemical scent or whatever of, like, fear, and then that sinks into the walls and whatever. Which I could kind of see, honestly, because I do think that there's, like you said, certain places where you go into... And without necessarily knowing, you're like, okay, like, there's some weird... Whatever's happening in here, don't like it. Weird.
Creepy. Scary.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So I think we're on the same page with that one. Let's spin for our next question. Have you ever ignored your instincts and then immediately regretted it?
Oh, 100%.
All the time, I think.
All the time. Whenever I, like, have one of those gut feelings and I don't, like, I actively fight against it, and then something bad happens, I'm like, see? I fucking knew it. And I should have listened to myself.
Yep. For me, it's always been like I did have a situation recently where my husband and I were driving into, one of the towns near us to go and do a couple things, just keep it super vague. But I have a way that I like to get in there, and because I was the driver, I was like, oh, cool, like, I'm going to turn this way and then go do this, and he's like, no, like, you should not do that. So it wasn't really my instinct, but it was his, I guess. He was like, oh, no, like, I don't think you should do that. I think you should go straight. And I kind of, at that time, I was just like, oh, yeah, absolutely, like, I'll just do that. But then in my inner self, I was like, no, you're the passenger and I'm the driver. I get to do whatever I want. Whole road closed off. Firefighters, so many people, couldn't turn around. We were there for like an hour and a half. Cool. And I was like, all right, this is nice.
I guess I should have listened to you.
Yeah, this is good. Or like I've had other ones where it's like, I'm trying to think. There was another one that I had not too long ago where it was like I had a gut feeling about something and I was like, yeah, well, whatever. There's not like a real reason for me to feel this way, and then stuff happens and I'm like, fuck.
I know. For me, it is tricky sometimes to distinguish like gut feeling, like some sort of intuition versus my anxiety. They're separate voices that sound the same.
I think that makes sense though. I think in a way one's based in maybe like logic in a way and the other one's based in fear. So to me that kind of makes sense. Can you think of a specific situation where you were like, oh, like whatever?
No.
I know. It's always one of those things where when it happens and you're like, ah!
I know.
But it's hard to think about.
I feel like there have been many where I'm like, I should have fucking listened to my gut about that one, but I didn't, and now I'm an idiot.
Yeah. Or sometimes your husband's gut, even though they are not armed with women's intuition. They're not supposed to be able to do that.
Yeah, they're not. So I wouldn't trust it. That was just a coincidence.
That's what I'm saying.
I agree.
Right. Let's spin for our last question. So why do you think that there's so many old legends that revolve around people being punished for temptation, pride, or curiosity?
Oh, we're getting deep.
Well, I was really digging deep on questions that are a little bit more detailed because I think sometimes with our show, depending on what the topic is, I sometimes sink into the habits of asking the same questions, just like reflavored slightly.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but why do you think that these are themes that come up a lot? Because I feel like at this point in the show, we've done a lot of different folklore stories, different mythology stories, different types of stories from literally every culture maybe on Earth. Like, not exactly yet. We're getting there, but quite a few of them to the point where it's like, okay, you kind of notice when things start to be a little bit similar.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, a common theme I see in a lot of these where that's the case is it's usually people in power not liking being questioned by the masses and
Yes.
doing things to caution the masses against questioning things too much.
Mm-hmm. It also, to me, seems to be a way to establish a moral system. So if
Yes.
you're telling a lot of stories where this person did bad things happened to them, I think the hope there is that you're dissuading people from
Mm-hmm.
behaving in a certain way.
Exactly. It's like a power stance of like, it's the same thing that religious organizations do in that
Mm-hmm.
sense of these are the rules that God has for you. If you go against these things, there are sins, and if you create a sin, then you're going to hell. Like there is
Yep.
a consequence for you going against these things that we're telling you have to do.
Yeah. And then on top of that, just because my question is specifically for like temptation, pride, and curiosity,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like specifically those things, to me, it's like a reaching beyond what you know, kind of you're trying to establish the fear of that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, this person was punished because they reached beyond either what they have already, because they were curious, because they wanted more. Like, it kind of has a similar theme in that way.
Yeah,
So
I
I
would
could
agree
see
with you
what
on
you were
that.
saying with like it being like a power story, because it's like, well, if there is somebody who, like you said, it's like a cultural hierarchy or a power system wants people to behave in a certain type of way, then you're going to want to dissuade them from whatever would be outside of the norm or to
Yeah,
change things because you're trying to keep a system in place.
exactly. How
So
very
with that,
eloquently put.
thank you. With that, do you know what my story is for you today?
Someone who is prideful goes to a haunted place against their gut intuition and bad things happen.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna give you like 72%.
Hell yeah, passing grade. I'll take it, baby.
Woo! All right. So, we'll start with the description, and then you can tell
Okay,
me if you've heard this story before, which, knowing you, because I do know you, I'm going to say no. But I am waiting for the day
probably not.
where you surprise me with these.
Actually, I'm very knowledgeable about
Did you know I'm the world leading expert in blah blah blah? Yeah. So,
one day.
one day. The Patasola, or single leg, is one of many legends in Colombian folklore about female monsters from the jungle who appear to male hunters or loggers in the middle of the wilderness when they think about women. The Patasola appears in the form of a beautiful, seductive woman, often in the likeness of a loved one, who then lures the man away from his companions deep into the jungle. There, the Patasola reveals her true, hideous experience. Sure, appearance, though, as a one-legged creature with ferocious vampire-like lust for human flesh and blood, attacking and devouring the flesh and sucking the blood out of her victims.
I didn't know you were gonna tell a story about me today.
How did you know? How
Oh
did you
my god.
know?
I'm just so
You're like,
famous.
finally. I've been waiting. It's only been since 2018.
I submitted this story to the podcast years ago. I can't believe you're finally reading it.
Finally. Oh gosh. But have you heard of the Patasola before?
I have not,
It
even
does
though it's about
sound
me.
very yeah. In like a third person sense.
Exactly. Yes.
I feel like in a lot of ways when I was doing my notes for this, it reminded me a lot of the Mananagal, which we did previously, which was a Philippine folklore. So
Yes.
this is definitely a part of, we'll say, a trend of story types, but the La Patasola is something different.
Well, I can't wait to hear all about it. So take it away, Em.
Absolutely. So, today we're heading into the forests and mountains of Colombia for a legend that is part ghost story, part cautionary tale, part monster myth, and part environmental revenge fantasy. So the name is La Patasola, as I mentioned in the description. This
Mm-hmm.
name roughly translates to the one-footed woman or the one-legged woman, and that is a deal that almost every version agrees on. La Patasola is said to appear in remote forests, mountains, jungles, and lonely rural places. She is essentially associated with Colombia's Andean region, though versions of the story appear in other parts of Colombia and nearby Latin American folklore traditions. And at first, she may not look frightening at all. In many versions, La Patasola appears as a beautiful woman, sometimes crying for help, sometimes singing, and sometimes lost in the wilderness. Her target is usually a man, alone in the woods, a hunter, logger, farmer, miner, traveler, etc. And this man follows her voice or her figure deep into the trees, away from safety, away from his group, and away from the path.
Mm-hmm.
Which, what I think is neat about that factor, because that is one of the consistent things between these stories, where it's like mysterious woman shows up in woods, man goes goo goo gaga, follows woman into woods, finds death. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
it's not making men sound very intelligent.
No. It
It's
kind of reminds me of like this. You told a story about a siren.
oh
Maybe it
yes,
might have been a few years ago now, but
probably.
that it kind of same vibes, you know?
Definitely. And when I think of like say if you and I were in the woods somewhere walking and like a beautiful man came out of the woods, you know, shirtless, glistening, whatever, and
I would
he
be
was like
running away.
he's like, "Hey baby."
If a man came up to me in the woods, I'd be like, I'm out of here.
Yeah, he's like beckoning with his
Goodbye.
finger. He's like, "Come with me deeper into the woods." There has not been a single
No.
moment in my life where I have been horny enough to be like, "Hello, weird
Mm-mm.
strange man in the woods. Obviously, I'm going to go with you wherever you're going." Like, what are you talking about?
And be like, cool, I follow you to get murdered? No thanks.
I'd be like, "Wow, thank you for this really suspicious situation that I definitely don't want to be in." And then on top of that, so I'm just going to add in that there is some discourse specifically about this topic when it comes up in like folklore stories about why this seems to be the case where it's like men following weird woman into the woods end up dead situation.
I think it's
Spoiler
because they
alert,
have an
I
ego
guess.
and they're like, the woman can't hurt me.
See, the take a lot of people have is, well, it's because at that point, like, you know, men are driven into loneliness. And I'm like, if he's in the woods with his friends, you cannot tell me this man is alone. Horny, for sure, probably. But lonely? I don't think so.
Like, are they all incels or what?
They're all so aggressively heterosexual where they're like, you know, you can't love your friends. These are not my companions. These are my brethren. We travel on the same path in the woods together, and I know nothing about them.
We all look to fuck beautiful lady.
That's it. That is what
That's the
we're here
goal.
for. Oh, but I can
And
see
she
that
appeared. It's a miracle.
I have to take advantage of this. Like, it's just, I don't know. But I definitely see your perspective on ego. It does sound very much like, well, obviously, she wants my attention, so fuck the rest of you guys. You
Literally,
were just
it's like-
jealous.
Ugh. I
Yucky.
hate it.
But
It
then
is
he'll
yucky.
see what she really is, which
Good.
is that La Patasola has only one leg, which often ends in a hoof. Some descriptions give her wild hair, large eyes, a huge mouth, and frightening teeth, as she should. And in some tellings, she attacks men directly, while in others, she disorients them, traps them, or causes them to wander until the morning.
Spooky.
Yep. So, one Colombian account collected by Radio Nacional tells of men who went hunting in the mountains and became completely lost, even though they knew the land well. They heard something moving around them, almost like someone was jumping nearby. Which, like, just saying. Again, if I'm in the woods and I hear the sound of somebody jumping,
I'm gone.
I get
Like,
that
fight or
you're
flight,
lost.
I'm running.
Like, I get that you're lost.
I don't
but
want to meet that.
I would chance getting more lost. Like if I like
Yeah.
that is one of those things where if you hear certain types of unnerving sounds and you're alone in the woods, absolutely the fuck not. Absolutely the fuck not.
Like, that's not the situation in which you punched the squirrel in the head. That's the situation in which you run for your life.
Yeah. That's not the fight action. That's the let's get out of here action.
Literally, there's no other choice.
So then they heard somebody jumping nearby and
Gross.
didn't think that was concerning for whatever reason.
It's
and
the ego, I'm telling you.
Yeah, and they could not see who or what it was. So finally, they sat down and they waited for daylight. In the morning, they then were able to find their way home easily. So the conclusion that they came to was that La Patasola had punished them for harming nature, which good for her.
As she should. She's like the Lorax, but evil. I like it.
This is definitely giving one-legged, feminine, wild Lorax, which
Love it.
I'm into it.
I'd watch that film.
Me too. So this detail matters because La Patasola is not just a vengeful cryptid. She's treated more as a environmentalist warning.
She's just an environmentalist.
She just cares about
Who
the
hates
trees,
men.
guys. She cares about the trees and the animals.
And hates men.
And hates men.
Just a little, just that's like a little tidbit to her personality.
It's just like a small thing, you know?
That's just like a side
she's
quest
a feminist,
at this
she's
point.
an environmentalist, she's an animal lover. And
Hates men.
And hates men. Just hates men. So
She's gorgeous, except for men who want to fuck her, and then she shows her true colors.
exactly, as she should.
If you were just chill about it, you'd be fine.
Exactly, but you were not chill, and this is
Yeah.
your punishment. You were too horny in the woods.
You
This is
had
what
too
you
much
get.
of a big horny ego,
Exactly,
and she
So-
could smell it on you.
for sure. On one level, she's a warning also about infidelity. The common origin story says that she was once a married woman who was then betrayed by her husband, and when he discovered her, he killed her lover and injured her as she fled. She died, and her restless spirit became La Patasola. In some versions, she searches for her lost children. So that's
Aw.
another thing that I thought was curious about this. So generally, it's that the man is sleeping with somebody else, and then she finds him, and then he kills her because of whatever shitty reason
he's
that
a
they
man?
come up with. Because he's a man. You didn't hear that from us, though. And but the weird thing here is like she is the one who's cheating,
Yeah.
and then ends up fleeing into the woods, or that something has happened with the husband, and she's on a search for children. So I thought that part was interesting because that's different.
I feel like you talked about another cryptid ghost story recently where it was just like a lady searching for her lost kids, and people kind of use that against her.
Oh, totally. I think that was the Blackwoods Briar woman,
Yes.
because she was like not a rectory ghost because that was the Borley Rectory, but yeah, it was that she was off looking for her children, and they made it into some weird gross thing, and I was like, oh, okay. Just make a sad mother into some weird fucked up ghost story for some reason, I guess.
How rude.
Very rude. So then, on another level, she's also a warning about disrespecting the natural world, which we knew already. So some sources describe her as a guardian of the forest who punishes those who cuts trees, hunts animals, and enter the wilderness with greed instead of respect. Radio Nacional
Hell
specifically
yeah.
describes her as watching over the forest and frightening those who harm animals or trees.
Let's unleash her on the people building data centers, dude.
You're like, listen, girlie, we need you here in North America. Like, Colombia is
Come on.
beautiful, but we got a big project for you happening up here.
Like, I got plans for you, girly, and I'm with ya.
Yeah. So then, depending on the version, La Patasola is a betrayed woman, a dangerous seductress, a grieving mother, a forest spirit, and a symbol of wounded nature. But like that's kind of is what makes her interesting, though. You know, it's like
Mm-hmm.
it's not like what we've talked about before, which is your regular scorned lover thing, or like your regular like, oh, cryptid of a woman who died tragically coming to get your ass. It's like, okay, no, she also cares about the woods.
She's a girl with hobbies. I see nothing wrong with this.
That's the thing. I love that you said that, because I was like, when I was making my notes, I was like, it just sounds like she's got a lot of interests.
She's very passionate about her hobbies, okay?
She's very passionate about her hobbies. So then, because this isn't like a clean little monster story where the creature's simply evil and the humans are simply innocent, La Patasola is terrifying, yes, but she is also made from various stories of violence, betrayal, punishment, and fear. The legend reflects old social rules about women, marriage, sexuality, and obedience, but then it flips it into something sharper. A woman who is punished for then becomes the thing that men fear the most in the dark.
Good.
And the forest is on her side.
Hell yeah.
That's what I mean. It's like emo Mother Earth. Like, I'm really digging it.
I love that for her.
Right? So, La Patasola belongs to a larger family of Latin American legends about dangerous female spirits, which also includes figures like La Llorona, who we've talked about before, and La Sonia, which we've also talked about before.
Mm-hmm.
These stories often involve betrayal, grief, punishment, motherhood, and men being lured or warned away from dangerous behavior, which maybe they need it.
And maybe they just need to check their ego at the door and they'd be fine.
This is what I'm saying. They just need to do some self-work, you know, shadow work,
Exactly.
whatever you want to call that. Don't
Stop destroying nature.
Alone. Make some friends. And quit being a shitty dude, I guess. I don't know.
Literally, they would have no problems if they were a good person who didn't destroy nature.
Actually, though, and respected women.
The bar is so fucking low. The
like,
bar is on the floor
at this point.
They're afraid of what?
If you need a ghostly environmentalist to be the person to explain to you how to, like, not be an absolute dickhead, like, this is troublesome.
You've got problems. Like, big problems.
Big problems.
Big problems.
So, La Patasola has her own specific territory. Because, unlike a lot of these other stories, she's not typically found in or around the home. She's not in your town square or in your village or wherever. She's in like the liminal spaces, right? The edges of the forest.
The astral plane, if you will.
Yeah, the astral plane, the dark paths, the place where, like, you know, people are not there.
She's there.
She is, but she's gonna be there.
Waiting for you to fucking litter.
Yeah, when you think nobody's watching, guess what?
She is.
If a tree falls in the woods, does La Patasola hear it? I think so.
Yes, she absolutely does. And she's killing the bitch who chopped it down.
Exactly. So then, in a forest is kind of like where people get tested, right? So this is like another aspect of like why it is that folklore around the woods has its own particular ish to it, because it's one of those places where, like, if you're thinking about like classic history, it's where hunters might then die because they got hunted by something else. It's where you might think you're totally alone in the woods, and then suddenly you hear somebody yelling for help, and you're like, oh, like, maybe somebody needs help. You know, like, you don't really know what's going on out there, but it's kind of, as soon as you start introducing folklore stories, it's like, okay, are you actually, like, pushing into, like, you know, supernatural territory, or, like, are you just kind of, like, you know, not minding enough of your own business?
Yeah.
So then, as far as, like, how this actual story goes about La Patasola, where does she kind of fall in? Because a lot of people tell a lot of different variations. She's got her own, like, history behind her. She's got more recent retellings of stories about her. So she kind of covers ghost stories, morality tales, being a warning to unfaithful men, a warning to men who exploit the land, a symbol of violence against women turning back on the society that created it. Probably. So then, that's kind of like the overall view that people have on this. So there's not really like one story where people are like, oh, this is the Patasola story. It's just kind of a mixture of all those different things.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, like I said, very different feeling about this depending on who's telling it and where you're hearing it from. So for a lot of people, when they are like, oh, La Patasola story is meant to be like a lesson about like, don't betray your family. Don't follow strange voices into the woods. Don't do shit in the woods when you think nobody's watching.
I think a sensible person would already do those things.
You'd think so, right? But that's kind of the fun of like these folklore stories is they're kind of like, yeah, this is what you would think a good person would do, but we're going to tell you in this way anyways because maybe you'll learn something from it.
I guess there are people out there who will do anything. So why am I even shocked?
Why are we even shocked? So then it's like a dramatic closing to my story for you. We have, so next time you hear a cry in the dark, or footsteps where there should be no one, or maybe the sound of something moving in the trees, maybe don't look. Because if the woman waiting for you is standing on one hoofed leg, it's too late for you. You fucked, bub. You fucked, bub.
It's over for you, guy.
It's done. You're dead now. And that's it. That's my story for you today.
I loved that. I support her. She's a girl with hobbies. She's my icon. We would be best friends in real life.
Oh, absolutely. This is definitely a shorter story than what I normally tell because I didn't want to go too deeply into a lot of the other history of it because with kind of the other stories that I mentioned that I've already talked about on the show, it does get to be a little bit repetitious sometimes where it's kind of like, here's a slight variation of the exact same story. But I did really love, like, the environmentalist elements were crazy to me. Mm-hmm. And also they're like, well, she cheated on her husband and now she just kills the guys for chopping down trees. And I'm kind of like, well, she's got her own thing going on, you know?
I think maybe she had that going on before she cheated on her husband. I kind of feel like
I think she already didn't unrelated. Like men.
Yeah, she was clearly...
Yeah, I think she already did not like men.
Yeah, she clearly had a thing already. And, like, she's just like, how do I notch this up a little bit?
Yeah, she's like, now that I've become a forest spirit, I already didn't like men. That part's taken care of. But what do I actually care about? And she's like, well, obviously, we gotta protect the animals and the trees and the flowers and the greens. But also,
and who's fucking that shit up?
Is very important.
Men.
Yeah, but hear me out. No men.
Yeah, no, none. Get them out of here.
Yeah. What do you think of my story here today, as far as how it's the same kind of different as some of the other stories we talked about on the show?
I liked it. It does have similarities to I feel like a lot. That's the thing with a lot of folklore is like there are all these oral stories taking pieces from one another, and you see that kind of across cultures where it's like a lot of cultures have the same thing but like slightly varied. This one had some fun variations though, so I really did appreciate that. Me
too. And if you liked today's episode, you can make sure to leave us a review on wherever you're listening to our podcast. We also have our website, which is www.wheelofcrime.com. You can check us out on there. We have our Patreon, which is Wheel of Crime at Patreon. We have our email, which is wheelofcrime@gmail.com. And we have our social media, which is on Facebook, X, Instagram, and TikTok, all at Wheel of Crime. And lastly, if you listened to today's episode and you were like, I know a lady with hooves who cares about the woods too, you can write it and tell us all about it. And that is on our Listener Stories forum, which is up on all of our social media. We do have a Listener Stories episode coming out August 28th. So be sure to get your stories in and potentially get a feature on our next Listeners episode.
Yes, and that's it. That's all. We'll see you next week for another new episode. Okay, bye.
Bye.